You finally getting it? You waking up now from your liberal stupor? You want some of this? Here's another one coming up now that you've, looks like could be possible given Senate control, or maybe close to Senate control, depending on we see what happens here, to liberal lunatics. How about this from Brookings? This is coming your way for all you liberals and Democrats that keep voting for this stuff, who voted for Biden and Warnock and, 12-year-old John Ossoff, the congressional, was he an intern or something that's his claim to fame? When he's not promoting Chinese propaganda, he's running for U.S. Senate, John Ossoff, that's interesting. So here's a Brookings Institute. Oh, you know Brookings, right? How could changing capital gains taxes raise more revenue? Oh, this is on the Biden agenda coming up. This is on the Biden agenda. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if today doesn't work out, we got to be prepared for eventualities, okay? Everybody needs a plan. This is what's coming up. Liberals, you want this? Good, let's give it to them. They talk about unequal distributions of wealth, blah, blah, blah. Brookings says, in addition, there's been a growing understanding that the U.S. faces a long-term fiscal shortfall that must be addressed, at least in part by raising revenues. For these and other reasons, proposals to raise taxes on wealthy households have received increased attention in recent years. One approach is to reform the taxation of capital gains. Oh, what does that mean? Oh, what are we talking about this now for? Because you better get ready. One prominent proposal will be to tax capital gains as they accrue instead of waiting until an asset is sold, an approach sometimes known as mark-to-market. So there are liberals who watch my show or listening to this right now going, no, I didn't vote for any of that. I voted just to tax those rich people, the evil rich people, not for me. How do you feel about paying taxes on unrealized capital gains? Yeah, like pension funds. Here, you happen to be a union plumber in LA or elsewhere, and your entire retirement's invest in a pension fund, which is exposed to the stock market. Yeah. How do you feel about paying your pension fund, paying taxes on unrealized capital gains, stocks you bought years ago that you haven't cashed out yet? Oh, what do you mean? We can't pay that. What if we lose later on? Oh, no one's explained what happens if you lose money on the stock. They're only explaining Biden and his cronies, Warnock and others going forward, how they're going to tax when you gain on a stock, even though you didn't sell it. This is what you want? You want pastors in the United States, pro-abortion pastors in the Senate who can't determine if Castro was a good or a bad guy? You want to start paying taxes on stocks and your pension that you haven't even sold yet? Well, let's give it to you good and hard then. Let's see how you like it. How about this one? Here's a Biden agenda going forward, seeing how things work out today, January 6th. Here's a Wall Street Journal piece, how Joe Biden's tax plan could affect you. The Democrat says he won't raise taxes on households earning less than $400,000 a year, but he would raise them sharply on the wealthy corporations. Oh, here we go again. Of course, liberals who really aren't that bright, can never do spreadsheets, basic math, or anything like that, are like, that's not going to affect me. I'm not worried at all. I just voted to tax all those rich holes. Oh, you did? Okay, let's check out this Wall Street Journal piece. I'll tell you how this is going to affect you in a minute. Of course, this requires you to have an IQ in the triple digits, which many liberals don't have. So this may be complex. So here you go. So this Biden administration with Warnock and Ossoff, who, again, I think was an intern or a legislative something up on Capitol Hill for one of the dopiest members of Congress, they said they were going to raise the corporate tax rate back to 28%. Propose a new minimum tax and raise taxes on foreign income. For individuals, they'll raise the top rate to 39.6 from 37, create new limits on deductions, and impose the 12.4% Social Security payroll tax on wages above $400,000. High-income owners of pass-through businesses that don't pay the corporate tax would lose the break they got in 2017. Biden would also change the taxation of capital gains. Instead of getting a preferential rate of 23.8, they'd be taxed at 39.6 for households with income above $1 million. In addition, Mr. Biden would require that people who die with appreciated assets pay income taxes on those unrealized gains. Come back. It goes on and on and on. So yes, listen, if you're economically illiterate and stupid, which probably means you're a liberal, then you're saying, oh, Dan, this doesn't seem to concern me. taxing. It only seems to be concerning people making over $400,000 a year and over $1 million a year. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. You can't unintertwine yourself from the economy they belong to. When those people worth over $1 million a year are forced to sell their stocks before they appreciate more, oh, shocker, you own some of those stocks too. Wait. Now liberals are like, oh my God, I'm a liberal, so I'm really stupid. But this doesn't seem to make sense. So if a bunch of evil, wealthy folks who are, by the way, creating most of the jobs in this country, all of a sudden don't have the money to create the jobs. This sounds like there's going to be less jobs for us, number one. And number two, it sounds like the stocks I invested in my 401k and in my pension, if everybody starts selling them and there's no buyers because the wealthy people are mostly the buyers and they'll be forced to sell them to avoid enormous tax bills, that sounds like my income will take a hit too and my retirement. Oh, Kenny Bell time. We'll let it ring for a bit on this one. You finally getting it? You waking up now from your liberal stupor?
You just heard Dan Bongino.